And he came to do the will of the Father. And the will of the Father was what? To witness to the truth that he was the Son of God. And because he witnessed to that truth, and the world would not accept it, rejected his claim to be the Son of God. They said, you're worthy for doing such a thing. It's blasphemous, and we have to put you to death. And he had the Romans do it. He didn't come into the world to die. He came into the world to witness the truth. We go this morning not to die, we go to witness the truth. It may cost us, so be it. Our Lord did not have a death wish, anything but that. He was going to do the will of his Father until death. And in this case, it meant that they would not believe and they wanted to put him to death. And only after his resurrection did they begin to realize what he was saying is true. Many women come to an abortion mill and they believe the lie of this world. That is some strange way, if they have an abortion, it will bring back yesterday and resolve all their problems, and they can get on with their life again. Some, because we stand like Mary and John at the foot of the cross outside these places, we touch their hearts before the abortion, and they keep their child, and they're grateful to us. It was amazing. Yesterday I was at 81 Willoughby Street, and this woman came up and she said her daughter is 23, 24 years old. And she came to Choices in Queens 24 years ago. And guess who were there? The helpers. I was there myself. And she came to say thank you. Could you imagine that? 81 Willoughby Street. Someone's coming up 24 years ago outside of, she went to Choices, and we engaged in speaking, and she ended up keeping the child. And so we stand like Mary and John at the foot of the cross, and the effects, well, sometimes it's mothers turn around, but many times, as you know, they don't. They buy the lie and bring back yesterday. And it's not until after they experience, like the centurion, the death of Jesus, they say, my God, he was the Son of God. And when they experience in their wombs that it's empty, the first reaction is, oh, thanks be to God, I can get on with my life. And then it begins to hit them, my God, my womb is empty. And pain enters their head and their hearts. They say, my God, what have I done? It was a child of God. And then they need us. They need us. They need us to pray for them both before the abortion and after, because the purpose of being there is the conversion of hearts. We hear Jesus on the cross saying, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Receive the truth that Jesus is God, and every child is precious to God. And this is the wrong answer to mother's problems. We have to be standing. As Mary, I said, stood, she knew this was God, the finest hour of her child. He was redeeming the world. He was the priest. This was the sacrifice. If anything, Mary said to Jesus, you stay right there, son. I will stand here in prayer with you until the end. And so do we. We stand there in prayer to the end. And sometimes the end comes rapidly. We don't realize it. It wasn't that long. It was only 3 hours, wasn't it? It suddenly was the end. But it wasn't the end. It was only the beginning. Because the conversion of hearts were to take place later. I saw in the New York Times yesterday, a Reverend Howard Moody died. How many would know Reverend Howard Moody? I know him. I started, as you know, in the pro-life movement in 1967, and so did he. And he was from Judson Memorial Church. He was running a whole process for abortions for women coming out of state. It was totally against the law. The New York Times put it on the front page of the paper and ran about all that he was doing. Nothing happened to him. And you knew death was coming. Death was coming. Well, death did come to him. He died. What did he do? He opened up the first freestanding clinic in this city, practically in this country, 1970. And who did he talk to run that clinic? Dr. Bernard Nathanson, a young doctor coming out of Columbia University, very liberal man. He was very filled with himself at that point. His manner of life was not exactly exemplary. And he talked him into shaping it up, making it one of the best, which he did. And so that in 1971, 72, they did like 70,000 abortions in that place. He had 34 doctors coming in from the morning to midnight, every day of the year, save Christmas. And eventually he was studying fetology and he started to see the reality of what he was doing. But still needed the grace of God to change. Eventually he did change. I don't know if Howard Moody ever changed all through the years. But it's a name you don't know, but God knows. But now he has to give an account to God. I'm sorry, he has to give an account to God as one of the most responsible people in this country for the abortion whole industry. And people don't know that. Starting with getting Dr. Bernard Nathanson totally involved in this whole process. Well, you know, another clinic started in 1971 in June. And the clinic was a place and they had a warehouse that was being used for slaughter of animals, and they sold it, and the abortionists bought it. And they opened up a warehouse where the children were being slaughtered. And from 1971, June, until September 1st of this year, that particular abortion mill killed more than 250,000 babies. And we've been there praying for many, many years. And suddenly, like Dr. Nathanson, who had a conversion when you would say impossible, but it's possible and it happened. Suddenly, the owners of this place, we had been in dialogue with them. Slowly but surely, the grace of God was affecting them. The people outside praying was affecting them. And suddenly, the great conversion took place.